The galaxy was quiet. Too quiet. For months, strange empty regions had been spreading through space like cold scars. These regions were not normal. They were not dark because of shadows or dust. They were empty because something had removed everything inside them. Entire planets, gone. Stars, missing. Whole civilizations, erased. People across the galaxy were afraid. No one understood what was happening. Alien empires blamed each other. Old enemies prepared for war. Traders stopped traveling. Scientists whispered about impossible theories. But the truth stayed hidden. Far away from any star, in a silent part of space where even comets rarely passed, something strange happened. A huge green flare appeared. It didn't flicker like normal energy. It didn't shine like a star. It pulsed like a heartbeat, like something alive. The flare opened slowly, stretching across the dark sky like a glowing wound. The human exploration ship Horizon Reach was the first to detect it. The ship was small but strong, built for long missions far away from home. Its crew had been exploring quiet sectors for weeks. Most days were boring with nothing but rocks and dust. But when the green flare appeared, everything changed. Inside the ship, alarms beeped softly. The crew gathered around the main screen. The flare was bright, unstable, and unknown. Captain Arlen, a calm and experienced leader, stared at it closely. He could not understand what he was seeing. The flare was not natural. It was too precise, too controlled. Almost like a doorway. The deeper they scanned, the stranger it became. Something inside the flare was calling them. Not with words. Not with sound. But with a feeling. The crew felt it at the same time, a quiet pull like gravity but emotional, almost personal. No one spoke for several seconds. Everyone felt uneasy. Everyone felt watched. The navigator, Alice, broke the silence. "Sir, I think it wants us to come closer." The words made the room colder. Unknown. Dangerous. Unmapped. Normally, any sane crew would turn back. But these were humans. And not just normal humans. They were part of a legendary fleet known across the galaxy. The Emerald Vanguard. A name spoken with respect and fear. A group famous for crossing impossible regions of space. The only humans brave, or foolish, enough to explore dangers no one else would touch. If something strange appeared in the darkness, the Emerald Vanguard always went first. So the Horizon Reach pushed forward. As they approached the flare, their sensors began to pick up terrifying details. The first thing they saw was the remains of a planet. Not a full world, just pieces of one. Huge fragments of broken rock floated like dead bones around the flare. The planet had not exploded naturally. It looked smashed, crushed by something strong enough to break a world. Next, they found the empty shells of starships. Some were alien. Some were unrecognizable. All were destroyed in strange ways, twisted, burned, hollowed out. There were no bodies. No signals. No survivors. It was as if something had taken the life out of them and left only metal ghosts behind. Then they saw something even stranger. Deep in the broken rocks around the flare, symbols were burned into the stone. The symbols were huge, kilometers wide. Not carved by machines. They looked burned, melted by a giant hand or a massive weapon. The crew analyzed them, but no database could translate the markings. It was a language older than anything known. A warning, or a threat. The Horizon Reach drifted closer. Crew members felt their hearts beating faster. The air felt heavier. The ship's lights flickered as if reacting to the green glow. Captain Arlen spoke slowly. "This is not a natural event. Someone made this." The entire crew looked at the flare on the screen. Someone powerful. Someone ancient. Someone waiting. Suddenly, the ship's communication system lit up. A faint pulse came through, 3 beats of energy repeating every 10 seconds. It was a pattern. A signal. The crew stared at each other. This wasn't random. It was a message. But the message wasn't asking for help. It wasn't warning them away. It was inviting them. The suspense grew deeper. Everyone felt the question rising inside the room. Should they enter the Emerald Flare? No human had ever crossed such a strange phenomenon. No data existed about what was inside. Could be a trap. Could be a gateway. It could be the source of the missing planets. They could turn back. Report to Earth. Let someone else handle it. But inside every human heart on that ship was a simple truth. If they turned away now, the mystery would remain forever. And the galaxy would stay blind to whatever danger had begun consuming its worlds. The Emerald Vanguard did not run from the unknown. They carved paths through it. Captain Arlen looked at his crew one last time. No one objected. No one showed fear. They all knew the risk. They all accepted it. "Set course," he ordered quietly. "Take us into the flare." The engines hummed. The ship slowly moved forward. The green light swallowed everything. And in that moment, as the horizon reach crossed into the unknown, the fate of the entire galaxy quietly shifted. Because the Emerald Vanguard had entered a place no one had returned from. And something on the other side was waiting for them. Something ancient and awake. The horizon reach moved deeper into the emerald flare, and the universe around them changed completely. At first there was only bright green light, soft, glowing, endless. The ship's windows showed nothing but swirling energy, like they were traveling inside a living storm. But soon the light thinned and something new appeared. A space unlike anything recorded in human history. There were no stars. No planets. Not even darkness. Just a quiet, strange emptiness. The crew of Horizon Reach felt as if they had stepped outside the normal universe. The sensors showed impossible readings, distances that changed every second, gravity that behaved like it was thinking, and time that slowed and sped up without warning. It was a silent zone, a place beyond normal physics. "What is this place?" Ellis whispered. Captain Arlen did not answer. He was staring at the screen with cold focus. Even he, a veteran of countless missions, felt a chill. The deeper they traveled, the more strange objects appeared. Massive shapes floated in the silent void, ancient structures made of dark stone and glowing green lines. They looked like monuments or temples, or giant machines built by a civilization far older than any empire in the known galaxy. Some were broken. Some were cracked open. Some looked like they had been torn apart by a powerful force. Every ruin whispered of a story long forgotten. The ship's AI, Nova, spoke in a calm voice. "These structures are older than all recorded species. Estimated age, several 100,000 years." The crew exchanged shocked looks. A civilization that old, and still unknown? But the Horizon Reach soon discovered the greatest structure of all. Floating at the very center of the silent zone was a massive monolith. It was shaped like a tall pillar, thousands of meters high. Its entire surface glowed with shifting emerald patterns, like veins of living light. It looked ancient, yet awake. When the ship stopped before it, everything fell silent. The engines sounded quieter. The air felt thicker. Even the green light around them dimmed. As if the entire zone was holding its breath. The monolith reacted. Slowly, its surface brightened, glowing stronger and stronger. The patterns on it shifted into symbols. Symbols the crew had seen earlier, burned into rocks near the flare. But now the symbols rearranged themselves, forming something new. A message. Nova translated the patterns. But before the AI could speak, a deep pulse of energy rushed toward the ship. The lights flickered. The controls shook. Every screen went dark. For a moment, the crew sat in total silence. Then a voice filled the ship. Not a normal voice. Not mechanical. Not alien in any familiar way. It echoed inside their minds, soft and distant, like it was speaking across time. "Vanguard, you have arrived." The crew froze. No one had said they were part of the Emerald Vanguard. No sensor could identify their fleet. No signal had been sent. So how did the monolith know? Captain Arlen leaned forward. "What are you? What is this place?" The voice responded, slow and ancient. "This is the remnant core, the last memory of the Elisarian Guardians." The name meant nothing to the crew. They had never heard it. No database mentioned such a species. As if reading their confusion, the monolith continued. "We were the protectors of this galaxy, long before your kind opened its first eye." Images suddenly appeared on every screen, visions of a beautiful golden civilization, filled with tall shining towers, starships shaped like wings, and rivers of green energy flowing through the sky. The Elisarians were peaceful, tall, and bright. They looked like beings made of both flesh and energy. The images shifted. They showed battles, massive battles against dark, shapeless creatures. The crew's blood ran cold. "The Shadow Architects," the voice said with sorrow. "A race from outside the universe, destroyers of stars, erasers of worlds." The screens showed planets collapsing into nothingness, entire star systems vanishing in seconds, structures being erased like chalk on a board. The crew finally understood what had happened to the missing regions of the galaxy. It wasn't natural. It wasn't accident. It was war. And someone was winning. The monolith pulsed again. "We fought the shadows for thousands of years. We failed." The screens went dark. The silent zone felt colder. "Before our final breath, we built this place. A gate. A memory. A warning." The monolith paused. "And a weapon." The crew leaned in. The monolith continued. Only one species could complete our mission. Only one had the courage to face death with open eyes. Only one could rise from small worlds to challenge the dark. The crew felt their hearts pounding. The voice spoke clearly now. Humans? Silence filled the ship. Captain Arlen whispered, Us? Why us? The answer came like thunder. Because humans fight when others flee. Humans rise when others fall. Humans choose hope even when the universe chooses fear. The monolith dimmed for a moment, then unleashed one final message. We waited thousands of years for your arrival. You are the new Emerald Vanguard. You are the ones who must finish the war we could not. The crew stared at the monolith in shock. The truth behind the green light was clear now. This was not a random cosmic event. This was a call. A call that had traveled through time, across galaxies, waiting for humanity. And now the humans had answered it. The silent zone fell quiet again. But the future of the galaxy had already changed forever. The horizon reach floated quietly before the ancient monolith. The green patterns on its surface shifted like slow-moving rivers, glowing softly in the silent void. The crew stood frozen, trying to understand the truth they had just heard. Humans were chosen. Chosen by a civilization so old that even the stars had forgotten their names. Captain Arlen took a deep breath. Show us more, he said. The monolith responded. A soft hum filled the ship, and the screens lit up again. Images poured out like memories, clear, sharp, and ancient. The first vision showed the Elisarian homeworld. A world of towering green forests, crystal mountains, and oceans glowing with energy. Cities hung in the air, floating like lanterns. Buildings shimmered as if made from living stone. The skies were full of elegant starships shaped like wings or leaves. The Elisarians walked through their cities with calm grace. They were tall, taller than humans, with glowing veins of green energy running under their skin. Their eyes shone like soft emerald gems. But what shocked the humans most was not their appearance. It was their technology. Huge emerald energy cores floated in the sky. Giant rings spun around planets, absorbing starlight. Starships flew through space on beams of pure energy. These were not warriors. They were protectors, creators, builders of peace. Nova, the ship's AI, whispered, they used energy not as a weapon, but as life. They shaped reality with it. Arlen nodded. A civilization thousands of years ahead of us. The monolith spoke again. We lived in harmony. We guarded the galaxy. We believed nothing could threaten us. The vision changed. Now the screens showed a dark blotch in the sky, growing. A shadow spreading across stars like ink in water. The crew leaned in. Their hearts beat faster. The shadow thickened until it became a shape, twisting, shifting, impossible to understand. A creature made of nothingness, a living void. The first shadow architect. Its presence alone made the images shake. Even the memory of it felt wrong. Then more shadows appeared. Dozens. Hundreds. The Elisarians responded with light. The screens showed enormous emerald weapons firing beams across space. Rings of green energy expanded around planets, forming shields the size of worlds. Fleets of Elisarian ships shot into battle, glowing like comets. But the shadows were stronger. The shadows didn't attack planets. They erased them. Entire worlds vanished when the darkness touched them, disappearing in seconds as if they had never existed. The crew watched in horror as whole solar systems blinked out. Not destroyed. Erased. Captain Arlen whispered, that's what happened to the missing systems in our galaxy. Ellis swallowed hard. The same enemy is back. The monolith continued showing the war. The Elisarians fought bravely. They created massive weapons, emerald storms, energy spears, reality anchors. They built titanic star fortresses the size of moons. They sacrificed millions of their own. But the shadows kept growing. Every Elisarian victory cost them hundreds of years of progress. Every defeat erased an entire culture. The vision shifted to the final days. The Elisarian homeworld was burning. Green lights flickered. Structures collapsed. The sky was full of black storms. The last Elisarian guardians gathered around a giant emerald core, the same kind of core the humans had encountered in the Silent Zone. The monolith spoke with deep sorrow. When we knew our end was coming, we created the Emerald Memory, a weapon of knowledge, a map of our history, a key to our power. The screens showed Elisarian engineers inserting glowing crystals into the monolith. The core absorbed them, pulsing with powerful light. We hid the Emerald Memory outside normal space, in the Silent Zone, where only the worthy could reach it. And then came the last painful memory. the Elisarian world cracked in half. A massive shadow architect descended upon the planet, covering it completely. For one brief moment, the screen was filled with emerald light, Elisarians using all their remaining power. And then, silence. The planet vanished. The cities vanished. The people vanished. Only the monolith remained, drifting alone in the silent zone for thousands of years. Waiting. Searching. Holding its final message for the next protectors. The humans felt the weight of that silence. A whole civilization, gone. A whole galaxy screaming for help in the past, unheard by anyone. The monolith spoke again, softer now. We could not stop the shadows. But we learned one truth. Our energy alone was not enough. The screens glowed with a final image, a small blue planet. We saw your species rise. We saw your wars, your inventions, your courage, your stubborn will to survive. The monolith continued. Humans grow stronger through struggle. You rise higher after every fall. You create hope where others find only fear. Captain Arlen and his crew stared in disbelief. The monolith's voice deepened. You are chaotic, unpredictable, flawed. But because of this, you are powerful. You can change the future in ways no ancient species ever could. The green light brightened around the monolith. And so, we chose you. To carry our legacy. To finish our fight. To become the new Emerald Vanguard. The ship trembled. Energy surged. Systems lit up with green lines. The Elisarian power was awakening inside the horizon reach. And with it, humanity stepped into a war older than its own existence. The horizon reach floated quietly before the monolith, glowing with green light. Every crew member stood frozen, not out of fear but out of awe. They had just witnessed the story of an ancient civilization that trusted humanity with its final hope. The Elisarians were gone. The shadows were returning. And now the humans were chosen to stand against them. But the truth had not fully arrived yet. Because the monolith was only beginning. A deep hum echoed through the ship. Panels on the walls lit up. Screens glowed with new symbols. Symbols the humans had never programmed. The horizon reach was changing. Captain, the ship's systems are activating by themselves, Nova reported. Shut them down, Arlen ordered. Nova paused. I can't. They're overriding everything. Suddenly, a beam of emerald light shot from the monolith and connected to the ship's hull. The entire ship vibrated, not dangerously, but like something inside it was waking up after 1,000 years' sleep. The lights grew brighter. The control panels shifted to new layouts. New options appeared, energy fields, resonance modes, ancient interface menus. Alice stared at the glowing dashboard. This isn't human technology. Arlen nodded slowly. No, it's Elisarian. The monolith spoke again. The Emerald Core recognizes your spirit. You are worthy. You are the new Vanguard. The green beam pulsed and then something extraordinary happened. The ship projected a hologram above the main console, an enormous map of the galaxy. But it wasn't a normal map. It showed areas of darkness, zones that were erased, hidden regions, ancient Elisarian outposts, and finally, a long glowing path of emerald light connecting all of them. This was the path of the Vanguard. A trail left by the Elisarians for humanity to follow. Nova translated the data quickly. Captain, this map contains coordinates to Elisarian caches, weapons, energy cores, knowledge vaults, maybe even ships. Alice whispered, they left everything for us. The monolith continued. The shadows return. Their scouts already move in the outer rim. Your time is short. Captain Arlen stepped forward. What do we do? The monolith responded with a deep pulse. Rise. Learn. Prepare. And when the shadows come, stand as we once stood. With those words, the green beam faded. The monolith dimmed. The silent zone fell still. But inside the horizon reach, nothing was still. Every system on the ship glowed with unfamiliar symbols, old, powerful, and alive. The humans touched them carefully and the panels reacted instantly. Energy readings rose. Shields strengthened. Engines hummed with a new tone, deeper and richer. The ship was becoming something greater, an Elisarian hybrid human vessel. Arlen looked at his crew. We need to test this power. Run full diagnostics. As they worked, new abilities appeared one by one. 1. Emerald shields. A protective field stronger than any human-made shield. It could bend incoming energy and turn it into power. 2. Light lance beams. Precision energy weapons capable of cutting through ships like paper. 3. Reality anchors. A device that could stabilize space around them, preventing shadow erasure. 4. Starfold engines. Engines that could fold space and travel instantly between distant points, but only along the path of the Vanguard. Ellis could barely speak. "Captain, we're holding technology that can change the entire galaxy." Arlen sighed. "Or save it." Hours later, the monolith pulsed once more, one final time. A final gift. A small emerald sphere detached from its surface and drifted toward the horizon reach. The ship opened an energy window, allowing it in. The sphere floated to the center of the bridge and unfolded like a flower. Inside it was a crystal, bright, clear, and alive. Nova analyzed it quickly. "This is an Ellisarian memory crystal. It contains tactical knowledge, star maps, and something else." "What else?" Arlen asked. Nova hesitated. "A list of threats. Every shadow architect ever encountered." A cold silence filled the ship. This was no longer an exploration mission. This was the beginning of war. The crew gathered at the main viewing window and looked out at the silent zone. The monolith floated silently, its energy fading. After thousands of years, it had finally passed on its duty. Now the galaxy's survival depended on humans. Captain Arlen slowly turned to his crew. "We follow the path of the Vanguard," he said. "We find the Ellisarian outposts. We gather their knowledge. And we prepare for the shadows." Ellis nodded firmly. "We became explorers to find truth. Now we've found our purpose." Another crew member added, "We're the first humans to ever carry this power. There's no going back." Arlen smiled sadly. "Good. Because going back was never our way." As the horizon reach prepared to leave the silent zone, the monolith sent one last whisper through the ship. Soft, faint, almost like a final blessing. "May the emerald light guide you. And may your courage protect the stars." The engines activated. Green energy formed around the ship. Reality bent. And the horizon reach shot forward into the galaxy. Now reborn as the first vessel of the new Emerald Vanguard. Their journey had begun. Their destiny was waiting. In the shadows, the Emerald Vanguard moved deeper into the dead galaxy. Every star around them looked weak, almost sick. It was clear now, something was eating the light itself. Commander Arya studied the star maps again and again. One horrible truth became clear. The darkness was spreading faster than they expected. The crew felt fear. But they also felt something stronger. Responsibility. If they turned back now, billions of lives across the galaxy would die. The first clue. During a normal scan, Engineer Moss detected a strange energy mark. It looked like a small, weak signal, almost like a whisper. But this whisper was not from a ship. It was coming from inside a collapsed nebula. The nebula was dangerous. Its energy storms could crush even strong ships. But the signal sounded like a cry for help. Arya made her decision. "We go in." No one cries for help in this galaxy and gets ignored. The crew prepared. Shields up. Weapons online. Hearts shaking. Inside the nebula. The moment they entered, darkness closed around them. Lightning-like energy hit the ship. Screams echoed on the comms as smaller drones exploded. But they pushed forward. Suddenly, the signal became stronger. And then, the crew saw it. The survivor. Floating in the center of the nebula was a half-destroyed alien station. No lights. No movement. Just silence. But inside the silence, a heartbeat-like rhythm was coming from the scanners. The crew landed inside the station. Air was thin. Metal was twisted like something huge had crushed it. Then they found her. An alien woman, weak, barely alive, lying on the floor. Her skin was glowing faint green like fading fire. When she opened her eyes, the first words she spoke were, "You came, finally, humans?" The crew was shocked. How did she know humans? How long had she been waiting? And then she whispered the sentence that changed everything. "The darkness, it follows me. It is coming for all of you." The station began to shake violently. Something outside was moving. Something huge. Arya shouted. "Everyone, back to the ship. Now." The crew carried the alien woman back to the Emerald Vanguard. She could barely walk. Her breathing was slow, like every breath hurt her. As soon as she entered the ship, their sensors went crazy. Red alarms. Warning lights. System errors. Something was coming through the nebula, moving fast. Commander Arya ordered. "Shields at maximum. Prepare for attack." But no one knew what they were fighting. The woman speaks. Inside the medical bay, the alien woman finally whispered her name. Leora. Her voice shook with fear. Even saying her own name seemed painful. Dr. Rin asked gently. What is following you? Leora's eyes filled with terror. It is not a creature, she said. It is not a ship. It is a hunger, a shadow that eats stars, eats minds, eats galaxies. The crew froze. She continued. It destroyed my world. It destroyed the last 5-star clusters near my home. And now, it has found me again. First contact with the darkness. Outside the ship, something massive moved. Not metal. Not flesh. Just darkness. A black shape blocked the nebula's light. The ship's scanners failed to describe it. It was like looking into a hole in reality. Every light in the ship flickered. The crew felt a cold chill, like death brushing past them. Arya whispered. That thing, what is it? Leora closed her eyes. It has no true name, she said. But my people called it the Devourer of Light. The attack begins. Without warning, the darkness struck the ship. No explosion. No sound. Just sudden pain across every system. Shields dropped by 50%. Engines lost power. Crew members collapsed as if hit by invisible force. It wasn't attacking the ship. It was attacking their minds. Pilot Oren screamed. It's inside my head, I hear voices. The darkness whispered thoughts into the crew. Thoughts of fear. Thoughts of hopelessness. Thoughts of giving up. The ship trembled. Power dropping lower. The human spirit fights back. Commander Arya forced herself to stand. Her vision was blurry. But she shouted, listen to me. This thing wants us afraid. But we are humans, we fight even in the dark. Her voice cut through the fear. The crew slowly pushed the voices back. Engineer Moss rerouted power. Dr. Rin stabilized Leora. Pilot Oren regained control. The ship slowly climbed out of the nebula. But the darkness followed them. Slow, patient, hungry. It was not finished. The final warning. Before collapsing from weakness, Leora gave them one last message. There is only one place in this galaxy where you can learn how to stop it. A forbidden star system, a lost archive, created by the first civilization. Find it, before the darkness finds you. Her eyes closed. The crew stood in shock. A lost archive? An ancient civilization? A weapon to stop the Devourer? The Emerald Vanguard now had a new mission. One that could save the galaxy. Or destroy them first. The Emerald Vanguard traveled through silent space for 3 days. No stars. No planets. Only darkness following them like a slow shadow. The crew did not sleep. No one could. Every time they closed their eyes, they heard a whisper. I am coming. They knew the Devourer of Light was still hunting them. But they had only one hope left. Leora's last message. Find the lost archive created by the first civilization. The forbidden system. On the 4th day, their sensors detected something strange ahead. A star system, but it was wrong. One star was green. Another was blue. And the 3rd star was a dead black sun that gave no light at all. The ship's AI whispered. No known maps contain this system. As they entered, it felt like reality changed around them. Waves of energy washed over the ship. Old symbols glowed on the hull. The crew felt pressure inside their heads. As if 1,000 ancient minds were watching them. Commander Arya whispered. We're being scanned by something old. The world of memory. The lost archive was not a building. Not a temple. Not a machine. It was a planet. A world built entirely from white crystal, glowing slowly like a heartbeat. When the ship landed, the ground lit up under their feet. A path formed, guiding them forward. Oren whispered. This place is alive. They reached a massive doorway. No locks. No guards. Just a single phrase floating in green light. Only those who carry courage may enter. Arya stepped forward first. The door opened. The ancient message. Inside, a giant hall appeared. Floating holograms. Crystal books. Memory stones older than the galaxy. Then the archive activated. A giant figure appeared. A being made of shimmering light. Tall, calm, powerful. I am Solimer, it said. Last guardian of the first flame. The crew stared in silence. Solimer spoke again. You seek a way to stop the Devourer. You are not the first to try. But you may be the last. The truth of the Devourer. The hologram showed the history. A universe older than this one. Civilizations that grew too powerful. Creatures that consumed galaxies. And among them, a mistake. A creature born from a dying star's final scream. A creature made of hunger. A creature the ancients could not destroy. They only trapped it. For billions of years. Until something broke the cage. Arya whispered. Someone released it? Solomon nodded. A new empire. Ignorant. Curious. They opened the seal, and now your galaxy suffers. The crew felt cold. The first flame. But there is hope, Solomon said. A crystal platform rose from the floor. Inside it burned a tiny green fire. Small, but alive. This flame is a piece of the first star ever born. A star that could turn darkness into light. Arya stepped forward. What must we do with it? Solomon's voice grew heavy. You must carry it into the heart of the Devourer. The flame will burn it from the inside. But only if someone is brave enough to enter the darkness. Silence filled the hall. This mission meant death. Maybe for all of them. Humans choose their fate. The crew returned to the ship. They looked at each other, fear in their eyes. But also something stronger. Moss spoke first. If we run, the galaxy dies. Orin nodded. If we fight, maybe we die. But at least we try. Dr. Rin placed the flame inside a special chamber. We are humans, she said softly. We don't turn away from the dark. Commander Arya looked at her crew. They were tired. Scared. Hurt. But they were ready. She whispered. Prepare the jump. We face the Devourer. The final confrontation. The Emerald Vanguard entered the dead sky again. The darkness waited. Huge. Endless. Hungry. It opened like a mouth. The crew felt it in their minds again. You belong to me. Arya shouted. Activate the first flame. The ship glowed with green fire. The darkness screamed. Space itself shook. The crew pushed forward. Closer. Deeper. Into the heart of the monster. The flame burned brighter. The darkness weakened. The Devourer roared. A sound that shook galaxies. But humans did not stop. Humans never stop. The light returns. With one final burst, the first flame exploded. A wave of green light spread across the void. The darkness cracked. Broke. Shattered. And for the first time in millions of years, the Devourer of Light died. Stars in distant systems blinked back to life. Planets reappeared. Lost ships returned. The galaxy breathed again. The legacy. The Emerald Vanguard floated in silence. Their ship was damaged. Their bodies were weak. But they were alive. Arya looked at the empty space where the Devourer once existed. We are just humans, she whispered. But we carved our path across the cosmos. And the galaxy would never forget. The humans who carried the first flame. The humans who fought the eternal darkness. The humans who saved the stars.